Big news from the Oregon Zoo as its Wildlife Conservation Center welcomes several new California condor eggs in the new year. The California condor is listed as critically endangered. Noelle Ford talked with one of the zookeepers about the importance of conservation efforts and what threats these birds face in the wild.
They are doing great. We actually have 3 eggs now, and we're expecting quite a few more. They're still in their nest rooms with their parents, and the parents are doing a great job looking after them at the moment. So yeah, they're doing great. We're off to a good start.
And is this normally the time of the year that you see eggs this season?
Yes, we normally get eggs around the end of January, and then they'll lay eggs all the way through March. And then our chicks will start hatching 57 days after the egg is laid, and we'll hatch chicks all the way through May, sometimes into the first part of June.
And I know the Oregon Zoo does a lot of work with condor recovery, conservation. Can you tell us about that program?
Yeah, we're involved in the program in a number of ways. First of all, obviously breeding condors for release into the wild. So the birds that we produce here, most of them will be reintroduced into wild populations of condors. We also do education by having our some condors on exhibit at the zoo that the public can go see and learn about. We also have a lead outreach program, and the Oregon Zoo co-founded the North American Non-Lead Partnership in 2018, which consists of state wildlife agencies, conservation organizations like ourselves, and sporting and hunting groups. And that's just to offer non-lead alternatives for hunting and sporting.
And you just mentioned kind of new programs. Is there any unique technology that's used in the program? We know that in the past, the zoo took part in a research project using a high-tech dummy egg. Can you just kind of explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we partnered with some researchers who they were already working with some artificial intelligent eggs for other species. And so they made one for us for condors that was approximately the same size and color and shape as a real condor egg. And they put some components in it that would test a variety of things such as temperature, humidity, how often it gets turned and in what directions it gets turned. And also they tried to put something in to collect sound so that we could find out what the chick inside the egg actually hears when it's in the nest room. So we just started doing that a couple of years ago, and all the data hasn't come back on that yet, but it's something we're going to continue this year to collect data on.
And what are some of the biggest threats that condors face right now?
Well, the biggest threat is and has always been lead intoxication. They are inadvertently eating food contaminated with lead in the wild that is left behind by people. A lot of times people hunt with lead ammunition. Another threat that's sort of new on the horizon is highly pathogenic avian influenza. A lot of people have heard about that recently with chickens and eggs, and that affects wild bird populations as well.
They're very important for our ecosystem. So can you just kind of explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, they're nature's cleanup crew, right? They're vultures, and they only eat dead things, and they clean up the environment around us. So if we had all these dead animals and remnants of dead animals in our environment, it could potentially poison water sources, food sources, other areas for us. So they do a great job going around and cleaning up what gets left behind to make sure that we have a safe and healthy environment.
How many condors has the Oregon Zoo released into the wild? I know that was something you mentioned earlier that you guys do.
Yeah. To date, we've released 104 condors into the wild. And that's from 132 chicks that we've hatched. So a few of those chicks have stayed in captivity to continue to breed more birds for the wild, and 104 of them have been released into the wild.
The Conservation Center is actually located in a remote part of Clackamas County to reduce the exposure of young condors to people. But if you want to check them out, there are 5 condors you can see currently living at the Oregon Zoo right now. They're right in front of you there too, so it's the best thing to check out.